Have a seat, please, if you would, Adrian. If you would, Birgit, Renko, have a seat. Good to have you here. That was interesting so far, wasn't it? Interesting and food for thought, to say the least. Adrian, if I can start with you, access to justice. We've been talking about it all morning, Ireland. In a couple of sentences, what does it mean for you, for your country?
There are mainly two legal streams in Ireland, both civil and criminal, but we also have a written constitution. And access to justice is very much important for a fair society. So much so that the Chief Justice has put together a working party to look at access to justice and what should it look like. They have concluded that everybody should understand their legal rights. They should know how to be empowered to use those legal rights, to understand that it's not just about going to court, that we can have other non-adversarial solutions. I'm very happy to say that ARAG provide all of these for our policyholders. ARAG pioneered legal protection insurance into the Irish market over 25 years ago. And today, in a population of just over 5 million, we have almost 1 million policyholders. All of our policyholders, apart from having the insurance for legal protection, we offer 24-hour legal advice, so we can help educate them in all of these streams in the legal environment and a non-legal environment. We look at solutions, we look at outcomes, positive outcomes. We don't just talk a great game. 4 years ago, we stood in the streets and we clapped our frontline workers. They were marvellous. A number of those workers suffer from long COVID. This is a recently recognised issue.
Yeah.
A number of our policyholders have long COVID. As of this week, the state have said that they are fighting those cases. They are fighting for justice. However, ARAG are fighting for our policyholders, and we are providing access to justice to those frontline workers.
Okay. So you don't say first to them, well, I don't know, there's no legal proof that you have long COVID, it's difficult to prove, let's wait and see. You decide beforehand, okay,
no,
we're going to stand by your side.
we have done a lot of investigation. We've worked alongside these frontline workers for many months now, because bearing in mind we're talking nearly a 4-year gap. So we've worked alongside them, we've got all the investigations done, we've done a lot of research. We know these people deserve justice. Some of these people can't work anymore. It's a really sad situation.
It is a sad situation. Tony, in the UK, legal protection for consumers. What does it mean in the UK? Can be a tough society.
Well, there are obviously lots of advantages. I would say that because I'm obviously slightly biased. But,
slightly.
Just slightly. But just like Adrian had just said there, ARAG is involved in effectively making new law. It's breaking down barriers, and we're here to resolve people's problems and to navigate through the complex legal sort of maze that exists. And of course, we're there also to provide access to justice and to support the courts, because we don't want to support unmeritorious claims. That would clog up the legal system completely. So we're there to sort of filter and assist the court system as well. And of course, we get there by conventional, traditional methods throughout the ARAG group, that is, lots of distribution through insurance policies, insurance routes, whether it be your home policy or your family policy or your motor policy or your landlord policy or your small business policy. We get to our customers through those traditional routes, and sometimes it's through affinity groups, trade unions, associations, and clubs and so forth. But what about those people who don't have access to insurance, the traditional routes? How do we get to that part of society? We're under a duty, I think, at ARAG to find a way of reaching everyone in society. And in the UK, we're sort of fortunate enough that the legal system allows us to, through what's called after the event insurance, to get to people after they've had a problem. And we can sort it out, we can resolve it.
That's unusual, sorry to interrupt you, but that's unusual. I mean, I normally get my insurance before something happens, and then I hope that I don't need it, right? But you're allowed to insure people after the fact?
After the event. And these people they probably couldn't afford the legal expenses insurance or the home policy or the motor policy or so forth. So we can get to people, that part of society, that socio-economic group, which is quite difficult to get to. And I think that's a credit to how we think about getting to everyone in society. And our regulator in the UK is becoming even more focused, should we say very active at the moment, in terms of not just treating customers fairly, but going beyond that. Actually finding a way to make sure the outcome is good for the customer. It goes beyond just fairness, it's actually a good outcome, and particularly with regard to vulnerable people. And I think most people, when they get around to claiming, you could categorize as vulnerable. They have a particular problem and we can sort it through a legal process or some other means as well.
Some other means as well. That's interesting. It's not just legal. It's like Adrian said, we're there for you. Give us a call and we might be able to help. That's truly, I mean, this is not just for the stage, if you're saying this is how you operate.
It's a legal maze, and we get the right person to deal with that particular issue. And just to give you an idea of the value of the ATE insurance in the UK, where tens of thousands of people we help. By the way, in the UK, before the event, the traditional type of route, we insure over 7 million policyholders in the UK for ARAG, the wider ARAG UK group. So for tens of thousands of after the event insurance, we actually obtain, or we don't, rather the lawyers do on our behalf, 50 times more monetary value in terms of damages or compensation for our policyholders than the premium that ARAG receives. 50 times the value. I don't know what other insurance has that sort of fantastic ratio of such great value relative to the premium that's paid. And it will equally apply to the before the event business. We haven't got the data to back that up. There are lots of other remedies other than financial in before the event, the traditional sense. But I'm very, very confident that it will be a multiple of what people pay for their premiums. So it's
I'm going to cross in front of you, which is a bit impolite, I'm so sorry, but to stand next to Birgit and Renko. Renko, what seems to me is difficult is that, you know, you're obviously responsible for Germany. It's not a one product fits all European sizes, is it? I mean, I assume that what you develop in Germany and elsewhere needs to be translated to be applicable in all these other countries. How difficult is that?
Yes, it's exactly true. We tried in the past to have one product and just export it to other countries. And
didn't work?
It was a disaster. It didn't
work
at all.
Okay.
It was because every market is different. Every insurance market is different. The legal environment is always different. So you always need local solutions and you need local products for that. But of course, at the same time, there is a lot we can benefit from. When it comes to innovation, we always try to exchange ideas between different countries, never a copy-paste solution, but always a good idea.
Always learning from the other countries in the group.
And technology, of course, we can scale much more on technology, especially now when it comes to AI. We do not need 19 different AI solutions within the group. I think 1 or 2 would be enough.
Okay, so that helps. I'll come back to that in a second, you know, what you learn from one another. Adrian said a few things about that, Birgit. So did Tony, about going beyond just the legal insurance to help people. But is legal insurance itself, would that be or perhaps the key to provide access to justice? I mean, if you got legal insurance, you got access to justice. Is it that simple?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah? I think so, because the financial support is crucial for someone to decide whether to take the first step or not. And the basic principle of insurance that many pay for the damage of the individual is still a very great idea. And therefore, someone has to take care of the costs, and we do that, but we do a lot more. And in Austria, we have 45 in-house lawyers, and the second you call, one of our lawyers takes immediately care of your case, gives you legal advice and discuss with you the possibilities of legal actions. And they are really good experts in solving the problems out of court, and I think that's very important.
So you're not just only an insurance middleman where you say, okay, you got an insurance with us and we will call a lawyer for you. You got them in-house?
That's right.
Sitting
there? They are in-house lawyers working for ARAG.
Do you see AI taking over part of that work in the future?
In the future, yes. Yeah, we have 2 projects ongoing, so I hope there will be an efficiency improvement in the future. I hope so.
Okay, and then, you know, I mean, Mark van Erven told me this, so it must be true. He said in the past, he said, you know, when people call us, we are not the ones who are going to say, well, I don't know if I can help you, you know, it's going to be a little bit difficult. We truly try to figure out a way to, also in a non-legal modus, if that is possible, to find a solution.
Yeah, that's right. And mostly out of court, and that's very important in my opinion, because no one wants to go to court if you can avoid it. And our lawyers are really good experts in de-escalate difficult situations.
Okay.
And yeah, but sometimes you need additional support, and therefore in Austria we collaborate also with other organizations. Think of cases of domestic violence. Here we collaborate with victim support organizations in Austria, and to provide a really comprehensive support for our clients.
What you do. I think I heard in different, Renko, in different countries, ARAG also has different focuses to be partner in society, to play a societal part. I think it is food assistance, for instance, in Germany. Is that correct? Or am I wrong in, you know...
Well, this is more the way we would like to get to underserved parts of our communities, to give them access to justice. These are areas our business model cannot reach. So we give them free legal advice there to actually serve them access to justice.
So you actually go looking for people who might want, who might need your help.
Exactly. And I think in the future with AI, this can become much more powerful. And I really liked Zach's example of the doctor. If you have the money and the means to pay a doctor, maybe it's much better to have a human doctor. But as Richard Susskind said, and it was on the screen as well, there are so many people who just cannot afford any legal advice, any access to justice. So I'm really afraid that regulation really destroys this, that the great is the enemy of the good. So you may not have the great legal advice, but the good legal advice, and I think this is an area AI could really change.
There'd be nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, like, use the example of the doctor. When you have a credible source on the internet to look up what, you know, the pain in your knee or stuff might be, it's not necessarily bad to first go to that, as long as it's a credible source, to that source.
I totally underwrite that. Of course, AI makes mistakes, but there's a secret I would like to break. I'm a lawyer, and lawyers make mistakes as well. This may be...
That's true.
So,
do you like your job, by the way?
Well, I'm a little bit frustrated now because I have to become a cook, and I really do not like cooking. But
a couple of quick questions before we go to a short break. Adrian, I read that every ARAG country has an Access to Justice Day. Take me through what does that mean, an Access to Justice Day?
I believe people are our biggest asset. So we get everybody engaged in Legal Protection Ireland in our Access to Justice Day. What it is that we talk to people, not necessarily policyholders. We partner with the lesser well-off, if you like, underprivileged groups. We have partnered this year with a charity. It's for elderly people, and we are going to spend a day working with this group. It helps elderly people age gracefully at home. We're going to help them. We're going to do some painting, do some gardening. I'm really looking forward to that. But also we talk them through the legal minefield that might be their wills, their property, their legal issues with their home, how they pass it on to their sons and daughters. So yeah, and all of us will be doing the same in the 19 countries. We've chosen different charities.
That is lovely. That is lovely. Yeah. May I thank all of you, please, for being here. Adrian, Tony, Birgit, and Renko, thank you very much. Thank you, guys.